Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And in today's episode, we are going to explore the holy city of Hebron and learn about its significance in the Bible. This city of Hebron is considered to be one of Israel's 4 holy cities. Let's not be confused. Every square inch of Israel is considered holy. However, we raise the status of 4 particular cities. The first is Jerusalem, and for obvious reasons. This is the location of the first and second temple, as well as where the third temple will be rebuilt. Then there's the city of Tiberias, located on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, known in Israel as the Kinneret. Its elevated status is due to the fact that this is where the oral Torah was finally put down on a piece of parchment that is today known as the Mishnah. It's also the location where the Jewish court of law, known as the Sanhedrin, last stood. Then there's the city of Sfat, located in the Upper Galilee on one of the tallest mountains in Israel, which is known as the city of mysticism. Mysticism in Judaism is known as the Kabbalah. And last but not least is the city of Hebron, considered holy because this is where our patriarchs and our matriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, their wives, Sarah, Rebecca, and Leah, have all been laid to rest. In fact, their graves are located behind me in a cave underneath the building you see there. Even the building itself has a fascinating story, as it's one of the oldest active buildings in the entire world. It was constructed over 2,000 years ago by King Herod. In today's episode, we are going to walk through the ancient streets of Hebron that existed here 3,800 years ago during the time of Abraham. We'll walk through the modern streets of Hebron and meet some of the people who are living here today. We'll step inside of a synagogue, a house of prayer that was constructed nearly 500 years ago. Not only are we going to visit the tombs of the matriarchs and patriarchs, but we will also visit the grave of King David's father, Jesse, and his great-grandmother, Ruth. But first, let's meet the spokesperson for the Jewish community here in Hebron, Mr. Yishai Fleischer. Rabbi Fleischer, thank you so much for joining us today.
David, it's great to be on the show.
It really is great to be here in the city of Hebron. As soon as I arrived here, I noticed how peaceful and quiet it is and just absolutely beautiful. But what is the origins of the holiness here in the city of Hebron?
All right, so Hebron is an ancient city, right? Even before there were Jews or anybody else here, there were Hittites 4,500 years ago. 3,800 years ago, Abraham comes here and he buries his beloved wife, Sarah. Before he buries her, he makes a purchase. Not through war and not through godly promise, it's business. And he's gonna pay. See, originally he was offered to get it for free. The Hittites were like, take it for free. And he says, no, I want to pay good money for it. And they said, no problem. How about you pay 400 silver weight, which we have judged to be about $1 million in today's money.
Goodness.
Yes. So he pays about $1 million for this spot. Abraham loves Sarah. He comes to this town to bury her, to cry for her, and to eulogize her. And in fact, the rest of the fathers and mothers are buried here together. Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob and Leah. This is a city of romance.
Wow.
It's husbands and wives who gave birth to a family that gave birth to a nation, the nation of Israel. 3,000 years ago, King David wants to start his kingdom over all of Israel. He starts it here. 2,000 years ago, the king of Judea, Herod, built this monumental structure. It meant to honor the fathers and the mothers buried here. In the year 1267, the Mamluks are going to conquer this place. It's a type of Muslim, okay, coming out from Egypt, and they actually take over this building. They do three things. They will change the name. They call it the Ibrahimi Mosque. They're going to add these two minarets in that upper lip, and they're going to do one more thing, which is quite upsetting. They're going to kick the Jews out of the building.
Oh my God.
They're going to say no Jews, no Christians allowed. Our building, where our fathers and mothers are buried, we were allowed to pray outside here. On that wall, it was called the seventh step. There was a staircase here, and we were allowed only to go up through to the seventh step. That edict lasted for exactly 700 years. 700 years from 1267 till 1967, when the IDF came and liberated this place and this site, and Jewish prayer was allowed again. When we come back to this land in 1967, we're going to start building a community here again. We're going to allow prayer for everybody, and we're back home.
Wow, Rabbi, that was a lot of information, an incredible timeline, and there's so much there that I would like to discuss, and we'll have to revisit some of those topics as we tour the city of Hebron. I already feel the holiness of this site just standing outside the building, and I'm looking forward to going inside. Can we head in there now?
Absolutely, we're going to head inside, and before we do, just take in the peacefulness that you feel here. You've heard so much about Hebron being a place of conflict, but as I said before, it's a place of love. And even the very meaning of the word Hebron comes from the Hebrew word chaver, or chibur, which means friend or connection. There's something when you get here, there's a sense of peace, a sense of connection to something ethereal, something bigger than us, more ancient than us, our past and also our future, humanity, where it really is supposed to go in the godly path.
Wow, beautifully said. Thank you very much. Let's head on inside.
Let's do it.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
There is no other structure from 2,000 years ago, from the Roman period, from the fabulous Jewish construction of that time, that is intact like this. This is the only one that's left.
I mean, it's incredible. Even when you look at the stones, I mean, they're designed exactly the same on the western wall, but they seem like they're unscathed.
That's right. There's a
condition.
few reasons for that. First thing, there's no real earthquakes here in Hebron. Second thing is that this stone, the Arabs call this Jewish stone because it's a stronger stone a little bit. So it's called the Jewish stone. So it's a little bit stronger than the Jerusalem stone. And there was no Romans that tried to destroy this thing, okay? They just left it alone. And later on, they'll build a church on top of it. The Byzantines are going to build a church on top of it. And so it was never really touched. Here, everybody just wanted to control it, to own it, as opposed to try to destroy it.
Right.
So first thing we see right in front of us is a big wall. This is part of the Crusader structure, okay? The Crusaders didn't destroy any part of this building, but they added onto it. Let's go keep going up. And I want to show you something very special. Let's take a look at this mezuzah here. It's a big one.
Gateway to Gan Eden.
Right, the gateway to the Garden of Eden. Okay. Here we are, all right? We're on the inside of the building. Remember, outside framed stones, not on the inside. Giant stones. There's
massive stones.
Massive stones, and there's no glue used. There's no glue used. It's the weight of the stones themselves. That's what keeps it stable. And you see there's no frames on the inside. The inside is different. But I'm going to teach you a word that you may have not heard, and that is cenotaph. Cenotaph. You know, British people have heard of that word. They have cenotaphs. but in America you never heard that word.
Right.
That word means a grave marker.
Right, we have a tombstone.
Right, tombstone. Now, this is not the tomb of Abraham, but it is the cenotaph of Abraham. The tombs are below the building.
Right, in the cave.
In the caves below the building. We went up, okay?
Right.
But this is the cenotaph of Abraham. This is a prayer marker. Let's call it a focal point where you could focus your prayers. And of course, now here, caveat, we don't pray to Abraham.
Right.
We don't pray to any holy people.
Just the one above.
Just the one above. Yet, holy people are like a kind of portal for spiritual energy, since they so much encapsulated a connection with God in their life. So when you pray here to God, you are really as kind of close as you could be. It's a type of connection point. You know, think of it as a phone booth, right? Think of it as a phone booth. You got to the phone booth, and this is the place you can make that phone call.
Incredible. So this is the cenotaph for Abraham.
Right.
And then Sarah would just be over here?
Well, that's a great question. Remember, we said that the forefathers and mothers were buried together, right? So let's come and see it inside this special room. Past us is the cenotaph of Sarah. And here's the twin cenotaph, or twin markers, let's just use that word, Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah together.
So these are two of the graves here, so where are the other four?
Right, wonderful. They are here. Let's go visit them.
Okay.
And now we're in the central prayer hall for the Jewish people. This beautiful ark was brought in by a crane. Okay, it was craned in over the top. And it shows you the kind of the imagery of Hebron, but it's always on the way to the temple in Jerusalem.
Voila.
And that's where we're facing. We're always facing Jerusalem. Even when you're in Hebron or any of the other holy cities, you're always facing Jerusalem, right? We have a central pillar, a central candle, and we always remember that. Okay, David, you asked me about the 4 tombs that were left. I showed you 2. 2 I can't show you. They're on the other side of this door. Okay, that's Isaac and Rebecca. They have a big hall. Used to be a basilica, then it became a mosque, and today it's really on the other side of this divide. And we really only go in there 10 days a year. So it's a little bit sad that we don't get to go there, but this way there's really less friction between the Muslim worshipers and the Jewish worshipers.
So right now there's Muslims over there worshiping.
Doing their thing, absolutely. They're praying over there. This is the room of Jacob and Leah. Now Jacob buried his beloved wife Leah here, but then himself was dying not in the land of Israel.
That's right, he died in Egypt.
He died in Egypt. And before he died, he told his family, don't bury me here. Bring me back to Hebron. Bring me back so that I may be gathered onto my people. I may be buried with the rest of my family together. And Jacob indeed prevails on them to do so, and they carry his body back here. And he tells them, I want you to bury me in the tomb that Abraham bought from Ephron, the Hittite. And he retells the whole story. We're always retelling that story to make sure that we know about that contractual purchase of this place, that we know that we have every right here. And he indeed is buried here at the Machpelah. And very importantly, we have to remember, all of us have to remember that Jacob has another name, right? His name is Israel, or Israel, right? So the namesake of the Jewish people, the children of Israel, and of the modern state of Israel is buried here. That's why this is such an important place for Israel.
Wow.
Because all of our history it begins here. The root of it is all here. The very name of Israel is buried here. Okay, so that's why this place is so important to the Jewish people. That's why 500,000 people visit a year. And that's why the state of Israel defends this place so much from all the various attacks that it faces, because it's so important to our very, very story.
Absolutely.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
Yishai, you brought me up here to the top of the mountain in Hebron, beautiful olive grove overlooking the city. But why else have you brought me here?
I brought you to see the origins of the city of Hebron, okay? The city of Hebron did not start at the tombs of the fathers and mothers. That was a cave, a field. The real center of the town where it really developed is here on this mound. And behind you is actually the tombs of the fathers and mothers because it was, as the biblical passage will teach us, in the field. I brought you up here to show you the roots. And I wanted to give you a thought about roots, right? About roots. Really, this place is the roots of all of humanity. Jewish tradition believes that the first people to be buried in the tombs of the fathers and mothers are Adam and Eve.
Right.
And that Abraham yearned to bury Sarah next to the tombs of Adam and Eve. Who are Adam and Eve? They're the founders of humanity. After that, the biblical family, those people who basically gave us monotheism, ethical monotheism, they have given all of humanity its value systems for the last 3,500 years. And finally, King David has his roots here. We're going to go see the tomb of Ruth and Jesse. Ruth, the great-grandmother of David, Jesse, the father of David, and actually where David had his first castle. So now, if I put that all together and I'm thinking about roots, I'm thinking to myself, A, the roots of humanity are here, Adam and Eve. B, the roots of ethical monotheism, what has sustained humanity throughout all its history. And 3, King David, which is the root of Messiah. So from the beginning of humanity to the middle of humanity to the destiny of humanity, it's all rooted right here and in that building, the tombs of the fathers and mothers.
Wow, amazing. And I'm looking at the ground, I see all these pottery shards here. Are some of these pottery shards from that ancient city of Hebron you just talked about?
Right, so we have actually findings here from 4,500 years ago, that's Canaanite. From 3,000 years ago, Jewish. 2,000 years ago, Jewish. We have all of those findings, and we found a lot of stuff, and most of the stuff, let me just drop down here for a second, pick something up. Here's another one, here's another one. All right, here we have stuff from 2,000 years ago. This is Jewish, and this whole mound has really yet to be excavated. It's amazing stuff, and it's right underneath our feet.
You know, when we go back 2,000 years, how many grandparents, how many relatives do we have roaming this land that it's quite possible that we had a relative drinking from this jar?
And we even have the original staircase where Abraham went up to the center of the city, to the gate of the city, in order to negotiate for the cave in the field, what we call in Hebrew the Machpelah, the double cave. Let me take you there. I got to show you. That's the real roots.
Amazing. Well, lead the way to those stairs.
Let's go.
Wow, this is just amazing to be standing here in this most holy place that Abraham himself walked on. But I noticed that there's even more ruins at the top of the hill. Can we check them out?
Absolutely. Let's follow Abraham's footsteps all the way to King David.
Amazing. Let's do it.
All right, so we're looking at a Crusader building, but it's much older than that. That's 1,000 years old. But below that is a Muslim building, and below that is a Christian building, below that is a Jewish building. We believe that this is the area where King David really, right here, had his original castle, and we know this is where his father is buried, Yishai, or Jesse, and his great-grandmother, Ruth, okay, the famous Ruth from the Scroll of Ruth. So that happened right in this place, and we get to come here again, especially during the holiday of weeks.
So I see here it says in Hebrew, Kever Yishai Verut. So this is Ruth and Jesse, and we believe that that's the exact location where they're buried.
Absolutely, and when you talk about messianic vision, that messianic will for peace, this is the root of that. So I think that people should come from all over this world, pay homage to King David, and I think you and I should go inside this building and pay homage to King David by reading some of his best literature, which is, of course, the beautiful Psalms.
Wow, that would be amazing. Let's head on inside.
Let's do it. Siman tov mazel mazel tov. Oyeh lanu lechol Yisrael. Amen. David Melech Yisrael Chai v'Kayam. David, King of Israel, is alive and well. He's alive and extant. He is with us. And the Davidic kingdom is something we look up to and pine away for to continue.
It's amazing that there's this synagogue here, a place of study built on top of the tombs of his father and his great-grandmother, where people can connect to his teachings and the Psalms and the Tehillim.
If you love King David, and I know many people do, like come here, like feel him. Feel his footsteps. Come connect to him at his roots. And you start here in Hebron. You can start in Bethlehem, where he's born. Come here to Hebron, where he reigned. And then, of course, to Yerushalayim, the holy city, Jerusalem.
It's awesome. Stay tuned as we continue to explore more of the city of Hebron.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
So we made a museum in order to highlight Jewish continuity in this place. And so you're going to see first thing the various stages that the tombs of the fathers and mothers, the star of the show, has gone through, from it just being a cave in the field, to Herod's building, to the Crusader takeover, to the Mamluk takeover, to the Jordanian, and then today to Jewish presence once again. You're also going to see a very tough room. You're going to see the 1929 riots. You're going to see what it means when 67 Jews are murdered, and when the British are in charge here, they're going to kick us out of our own city. This museum is all about Jewish presence before 1929, 1929, and our miraculous return in 1967.
Wow, amazing. So Yishai, this is the first time we're standing in a building that looks relatively modern. What are we doing here?
In 1929, there were riots in the streets. This Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Mufti of Jerusalem, stirred up anti-Jewish feelings amongst local Arabs here, and it ended with the murder of 67 Jews. Two young boys at the time, ran into the synagogue, went into the Holy Ark, and picked up two Torah scrolls, two ancient Torah scrolls, which were at the time 500 years old, that came from Baghdad. And they saved them, risking their own life. Subsequently to that, the synagogue was completely destroyed, utterly destroyed. And so what we're seeing here today is actually the rebuilt, resurrected Avraham Avinu synagogue, which was totally destroyed and actually became a sheep pen under Jordanian rule from 1948 to 1967. It was totally desecrated.
So in 1967, Israel liberates the city of Hebron. And for the first time since 1929, Jews are once again allowed to return to their homes here in the city. But what about those Torah scrolls? What happened to those?
In 1979, we invited those boys that had rescued the Torah scrolls.
Wow.
We invited them to put the Torah scrolls back into the Ark. And that is for them the most emotional, the most incredible day of their life. The heroism that they showed in 1929, and to live through the destruction and then the rebirth of this synagogue, and to put those ancient Torah scrolls back.
So tell me, the Torah scrolls are in the Holy Ark right now?
You know, David, I'm really excited because I'm going to get to show them to you. You're going to see those 500-year-old Torah scrolls in this Ark. They were taken out of here and they've been returned. They're ancient, they're beautiful, and they're still in use.
Just like us.
That's right, let's go.
Wow. What a collection of Torah scrolls. This
Yes.
is incredible.
Yes.
There must be about 15 of them in here. And this is the 500-year-old Torah scrolls.
That's right.
That were taken. Unbelievable.
And I want to just ask you a question. Do you recognize what Torah portion they're open to?
Well, here it's talking about God speaking to Moshe. He says that I'm God, and you will see the God of Abraham,
That's right.
and the God of Yitzhak, and the God of Yaakov. Amazing. Here we are reading these words that were spoken by God to Moses about Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, who are all buried right here.
That's right. That's right.
Amazing. Wow.
In other words, these scrolls, ancient text, the 3,500-year-old text, the scrolls themselves 500 years old, synagogue that's 500 years old, destroyed, rebuilt. Here's the Torah scrolls. They're still reading what we're reading this week. They're in use, just like you said, just like us.
Wow, that is incredible. Join us next time on Land of the Bible as we head to Samaria, which is steeped in biblical history. We'll explore its capital, Ariel, head into Shiloh, where the tabernacle stood for hundreds of years, as well as meet the individuals who are settling this great land. Wow, what an awesome day today has been as we've explored the holy city of Hebron with Mr. Yishai Fleischer. Thank you for watching Land of the Bible. And remember, I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. Make sure to join us next time as we connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.